Friday morning. I'm Matt Carothers, and welcome to another installment of Everyone's. I'm hypnotizing you, aren't I? I'm making you think that your favorite horse racing show on television, because I know it is. 30 minutes of bliss. We call it Blinkers Off. We do it every Friday morning, and boy, do we have a big show for you. Last week, I was at Keeneland. We're kind of all about Keeneland and Woodbine. I'm not going to neglect Keeneland. We're going to talk about our spotlight race, the Lexus Raven Run, that Saturday at Keeneland. But how about Illinois Festival of Racing at Hawthorne? How about New York Showcase Day at Belmont? We are all over both racetracks. And the fun part about the show now is having a different co-host, a brand new one, every week. Joining me right now I don't think this is his bedroom where it says 100 years family owned. I'm not sure about that. I think he's at Hawthorne Racecourse right now. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records as the tallest intertrack analyst in the history of horse racing. He's Jim Miller. Jimmy, are you at the racetrack right now, or are you in your kitchen?
I'm at the racetrack.
Wallpaper in the kitchen?
I carry Hawthorne garb with me at the house, too, and don't try to influence me with that hypnotizing look either.
How tall are you, by the way? I think you are the tallest intertrack, because Todd Schrupp, back in his days at Calder, I think Todd's 6'4.5". You have him beat, don't you?
I talked to him and Vic Stauffer when we were setting up the racetrack basketball team.
And you tower over him, don't you?
He'd be the center in the mix, but yeah, those guys pretty tall. I got him beat, though.
Okay, quickly, before we get to horse racing, again, it's World Series time right now. I think Texas will win this series. Big win, obviously, for them last night. You were in the Brewers organization. Is that true?
Correct. In the Brewers organization. That's who I was cheering for. I was sad to see them go, though, in the playoffs this year.
So I'm guessing during the playoffs you were having texting conversations with Braun and Fielder. Are you pretty close with those guys?
I've met the guys. They're both good guys. Fielder was coming up near the end of my career there. Great guy. And
really?
A really nice team. It's just St. Louis eked their way in, and now look, they may win a series.
All right, and you were a pitcher, right? And you could top the radar gun at?
I had 94 at the...
Wow! Did you really?
Not too bad. Kenny Rudolph was scared of me at one
94?
point.
You're a lefty, right?
Oh, I wish I were lefty. I'd still
okay.
play. I'd be a multimillionaire. Instead, I'm here with you today.
Yeah, you'd be Randy Johnson, minus 5 miles per hour if you were left-handed. Right. Okay, all right, let's get to it. Before we jump in to what's a big Saturday for you guys at Hawthorne with your Illinois Festival of Racing, how about a superstar competing in Australia later on this evening? I think she's going to run at 9:20 at Pacific time, talking about the undefeated Black Caviar. And Jim, we kind of have a lack of superstars in racing. She's obviously one of them. I mean, when you think superstars in racing, she's one of the first names that you think of, isn't she?
The thing about Black Caviar is this. I mean, we got Frankel last week, but look at Black Caviar. I mean, 14 for 14. It doesn't matter. She doesn't seem to need a huge layoff either. She just ran on October 8th. I mean, it's incredible. Pop right back. She's a monster.
She is, and she just annihilates her opposition. And she's going to be obviously heavily favored, just a 5-horse field, to do the same and go 15 for 15. I think in terms of your time form ratings, Greg Wolf actually talked about this on the air yesterday. I think that number 2 in time form ratings behind Frankel. We thought maybe Frankel would come over here for the Breeders' Cup. It looks like he's out for the rest of 2011. We'll see him as a 4-year-old in 2012. And Black Caviar will leave Australia coming up in the summer of 2012 at Royal Ascot. So it'll be fun to see her there. It'll be fun to watch her tonight as well, do her thing. And, I mean, it would be a shocker if she does not remain undefeated. So great racing from Australia at TVG tonight, Friday night. Saturday, though, I love these days, whether it's the Illinois Racing Festival of Racing or the New York Showcase Day, because you have good horses that are, obviously, at Hawthorne, these are Illinois breds, good horses, not great. They get to run for big purses. So because of the big purses, you're going to get big fields in a lot of these races. So they're fun races to handicap because you get good field size, right?
Yeah, you get good field size. You get quality horses in the races. I mean, our best Illinois bred's Giant Oak, who's been running in the national spotlight. But these are all pretty good races. They're solid races. The older horses beat each other up time and again. And 2-year-olds are so vulnerable that time and again, you see upsets in these races, and they produce some great prices.
How's your handle been? Again, I still think, that opening weekend, I talked about a lot in the network, how I thought it was as good a betting product as we had that opening weekend. I still think it's been pretty good. I think it's one of your better meetings from the gambling side of things. Has that translated into a decent handle for you guys?
Yeah, handle's been good. I mean, the main thing is we're back to being able to run a 5-day racing week compared to a 4-day race week last year. So you have more opportunities for horsemen to run. Field size is still above 9 starters a race. We got hurt by weather the last couple of days, but it's not a big deal. But with better purses, people want to run. And
the weather's going to be okay this weekend, though, right? I looked at the forecast. Looks like it'll be okay on Saturday. So
sunny today. It's going to be sunny on Saturday. You'll have a fast main track, so we'll have no issues at all.
Let's get to the Bucks, boy. That's race number 10 Saturday at Hawthorne. $125,000 purse. Field of 8 going postward. And you have a zillion jobs there, too. Is morning line maker one of your
That is one of them. I'm 10 years in running in the morning line.
Wow, I don't know how you do it, how you wear so many hats. Denham, you installed as your 3-to-1 morning line favorite. I think his price will be shorter than that in this race. He crushed off of a similar layoff back in March of this year. He hasn't raced in 4 months. That layoff was 3. He owns Hawthorne, doesn't he? He's going to get a really good trip in this race.
The thing about Denham is he does own Hawthorne. My worry is he made 15 starts last year. He's only started 4 times this year and hasn't run since the end of June. So I'm wondering if age is catching up with him a little bit.
Okay.
If all those hard races before are catching up with him or what it is. I think he's a vulnerable favorite. And you're right, he could go a little shorter than 3-to-1.
Because there is some pace. Hydropower, the 4 is going to go. The race, Fast Albert and Racing Brand coming out of the same race on the 30th of August at Fairmont Park. That must have been a hell of a race because those two were separated by about a head the entire running of that mile 70-yard event.
I looked back at that race. It's weird that a key race is a race at Fairmont Park. Racing Brand never got a breather the entire way.
Yeah.
Fairmont's traditionally a slow track. They went 46 to the half, 11-4 for 3/4, and this horse still prevailed. In this race, I think he tracks off the leader, sits back a little, and comes charging late.
You're tipping your cap. You're going to go with Racing Brand in your selection?
I am going with Racing Brand. This horse is a horse who's been good over this Hawthorne track. He's won over other tracks. Good on the dirt, and there's some other pace in here. It seems like Racing Brand gets the trip.
Yeah, I'm looking for somebody to come off the pace. I think Denham's the horse to beat, but in a tough race like this, I can't live with 8-5, 9-5. I think that will be his post-time odds. I end up going to the outside. Color Me Blue in this race. I like what he did his last start at Hawthorne. I know it was against lesser competition, but it was a big-time win by 3 1/4 lengths and a pretty good time of 44-1 for the mile and a 16th. 2 for 3 the third place finish at Hawthorne. He's essentially won half of his starts in his career. Freshened up a little bit, layoff, but not a significant layoff. Comes into the race off about a 7-week absence. I'll go with Color Me Blue. I think I'll get every bit of that 4-1, maybe even higher, the outside runner, Tim Thornton for Brian Williamson. As we move on to the Illinois Princess Handicap, that will be race number 4, mile and a 16th, field of 6 in this race. And, the one, Sean's Silver Dancer in the Illini Princess, didn't run at all in her last start, but nothing wrong with, I guess, getting soundly defeated by Marketing Mix, who I needed on this program last Saturday. I selected her in the QE2 at Keeneland at 20-1 morning line. She ran a pretty good second at 11-1. Does she interest you at all at a price? Because 6-1 obviously is a price in a 6-horse field.
Yeah, she interests me a little bit. You have to toss out those last 2 races on the grass. What I like is you have 2 very good workouts over this Hawthorne dirt. And this horse has never lost here at Hawthorne. I don't know if she can win this race or not, but 6-1 is a very tantalizing price.
This race I thought was very difficult. Dundalk Dust. Are you going with chalk in this race? It's kind of feast or famine a little bit, right? You see no seconds from 11 starts, 5 wins. I guess her A game wins this game, but she only brings her A game to the table about half the time.
I think the A game actually comes. This was her only race that we're looking at over this Hawthorne track, and it was a victory in this exact race last year. She needs pace to chase. You know Catalina Way is going to go. And Chris Block may be helping Dundalk Dust out by sending another one in here in Peyote Patty, who traditionally has been a turf runner, but I think she's going to wing it from the gate too.
Yeah, the 5 probably the quickest in this race. Catalina Way, you talked about her speed. We kind of have the same idea. Again, we sort of did in the Bucks boy as well. I'm going to go with America's Blossom and Chris Amy in here. Back on the dirt, ran a pretty good second. And when she lost to Catalina Way had everything her way on the front end in that race. And it was a pretty good effort to close from 6 to run second against a lone F who got away with a 48-2 half mile. So I look for her to rebound back on dirt, freshened up a little bit. I'll go with America's Blossom at a price 6-1 in the Illini Princess, our spotlight. Gotta hit that
You're
note.
going to be helped a little bit. The track's been playing evenly, too, so
has it?
Blossom has every shot.
Okay, all right, let's move ahead to the Lexus Raven Run. As I mentioned, it's our spotlight race. It's a Grade 2 event at Keeneland on Saturday. And this race, the difficult part, Jimmy, about this race for me is, first of all, it's a field of 13. That makes it difficult. How about 9 of the 13 have never tried synthetic?
That's a huge thing.
How about that, huh?
It's incredible. A lot of turf horses, dirt horses. This is a wide open race.
So what do you do with that unbelievable stat, that unbelievable nugget that I just gave out to you? Do you say, are you sort of scared to use one of the 4 that haven't been on synthetic? Because the 4 who haven't been on synthetic, many of them have big chances in this race. I think Funny Sonny could win this race. The 5, never been on synthetic. Roman Treasure for Hushin, obviously a major player, never been on synthetic. What are you doing here?
That is my... There's any way possible you get 6-1 on Roman Treasure.
Yep.
I just don't think it's possible. The horse destroyed horses at Belmont last time out.
Yep.
And then you have a work over the synthetic. That work at Keeneland's a really good work. It's a half mile and 47-1. Hushin's good. You get Le Peru, who wins everything at Keeneland.
Yeah, he is.
And look at it, this horse is really fast. I think Roman Treasure can clear this field and wire him.
You know, even though I'm not selecting Roman Treasure, I agree with everything you said, and I almost made her my top selection. Any sort of exotic play that I'm making, 50-cent late pick for. Obviously, I'm going to include Roman Treasure, and I agree. She's the fastest runner in this field. Few trainers, if any, are smarter than Michael Hushin. I mean, he shows up out of New York. He means business. Obviously, he thinks she can handle synthetic. She's training well over it. That's good enough for me that she will run well. That being said, Funny Sonny, I almost went with her, the 5. I'm kind of a 5-7-9 guy in this race. The 11 Strike the Moon as well. I end up with Long Lake Krista in here, and I know she lost to Great Hot at Del Mar in the Torrey Pines on the 4th of September. She got the lead in that race. 22-3 opening quarter, very quick. I went back and looked at the charts that day. There were 7 races over synthetic. Only 1 race was 1 gate to wire. So she showed tremendous pace, fast fractions against a bias that favored closers that day. I like the cutback, lightly raced. Eric Reed wins races at Keeneland, training well. 15-1 Edgar Prado. I will take her, Long Lake Krista, but use your selection, Roman Treasure. Jimmy, usually lately I've been actually not even showing my face during this segment because it's been a bad segment for the last 2 months. But I almost had my best handicapping weekend ever on this program last Saturday. I was darn close. If a couple of 11-1 shots would have won instead of run second, it would have been that weekend for me. So all the runners ran, except for Strawberry Daiquiri, apparently. E.P. Taylor, diseased, 10th. All right, it gets better. It gets better, I promise. About 22-1 with Sarah Lynx. Woohoo! Yeah, that really helped the ROI at 47 and change in the Canadian International. And then I had a couple of, Fiddler's Patriot stalked early in that race, got a little tired, ended up running 5th, Grand Adventure. Marketing mix. This was one of those races, Jimmy. 10-1 second, couldn't beat Together. Tom Proctor's runner ran great, though. Winter Memories didn't fire. Larry Zapp, 3rd, beaten 2 noses in the anniversary. 3-horse Photo. So that was a close one as well at 5-1. Hawthorne Derby. Yeah, Wayne's horse. My man Wayne's horse did not run very well. Passed the dice. Wilcox in. Just a little bit too classy. Don went with the chalk. Athenia. This was a win for me at 9-2 with the nomination. Unbridled Humor at even money ends up running 2nd. And here's another bad beat for me here. I thought Kelly Breen, my man, had this race won. I had Sleepless Night at 11-1. Got caught by Boisterous late. So Mr. Ryder 3rd, and then play of the day was kind of El Stinko, if I recall. Yeah. Wow. East Angle. Don Lupo will be playing back Aldo with Snow with that East Angle. ROI got a little better. Jimmy, I cut it in half. I was down in the 80s.
That's solid right there.
Now I'm down 42-30. Now I can do something with that, as we still have plenty of time. Obviously, with the Breeders' Cup 2 weeks away, that will be probably the big weekend for me in terms of the ROI. We appreciate Jim Miller. He does many things. He does so many things, I'm not even sure of all his duties. What are you, assistant GM, morning line maker, intertrack analyst, anything else?
TV analysis here. I help set the races. I'm setting the track conditions, setting the odds, and then horseman's relations. That's a big thing. Horseman's relations, you need to have it, and that's something that I focus on quite a bit.
Well, you're such a likable guy. I'm sure you do a fine job when it comes to that. So we appreciate Jim Miller and his busy schedule being on the program today. Time for one and only commercial timeout. When we come back, we got the Empire Classic. We got the Ticonderoga. We got the Bunty Lawless in our Saturday play of the day. Don't go anywhere.
Today, bet Keeneland's $200,000 guaranteed late pick 4, presented by TVG. Keeneland Friday action with a guaranteed pick 4, presented by TVG. First leg is race 7. Bet it today at TVG.com. Fast action, more cash. TVG. Open your wagering account before the Breeders' Cup World Championships and earn a $100 bonus. Sign up now at TVG.com or call 1-888-PLAY-TVG. The world's fastest thoroughbreds compete for $26 million in purses. Sign up now. Act fast to get your $100 cash bonus. Sign up now at TVG.com or call 1-888-PLAY-TVG. Watch TVG original segments online. Search TVG on Hulu, YouTube, Blinks, and Sling. View handicapping segments, personality profiles, short features, and more. TVG original segments online now. 3 days this week, watch and wager on Suffolk Downs Racing, New England's odds-on favorite for gate-to-wire excitement. Watch only on TVG. Suffolk Downs Racing, this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. First post, 12:45 Eastern, 9:45 Pacific. He won the Japanese 2,000 guineas and then the Japanese Derby. Now Orfevi goes for the final leg of the Japanese Triple Crown. Don't miss the Kikuka Show from Kyoto Racecourse. TVG late Saturday night, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific.
Welcome back to Blinkers Off. Former professional baseball player. He does everything at Hawthorne. Jim Miller coached the program. There's Jimmy. What do you think of those plays by Elvis Andrews last night? Did you see those couple of those plays?
The guy's amazing. I mean, you thought that game was done going in the ninth, and then you come back, but that's what it is. Defense wins games.
The double play he turned with Kinsler in, like, what was that, the second inning? That was sick.
It's just it's smooth. I mean, that you talk about picking up a pitcher who needs a little pick me up. That's it. You make a play like that, it's a huge confidence builder.
That play he made in the hole, and then with his glove from about 15 feet away, he doesn't even throw it to Kinsler. He throws it right to the bag, and Kinsler, like a wide receiver, catches it right on the bag, a foot in front of the base runner. Yeah, and then he scores the winning run. He gets to second base on the single, and the bad play by
Kinsler's
Pujols.
A stud. He's a little guy. He rushed the ball at the plate, hits for average, and plays deep.
Yeah, I wasn't excited about this series, but the first 2 games have been great. Outstanding pitching and defense. That's what you want to see in the World Series.
Right.
Our viewers want to see some winners. Let's get into New York Showcase Day. Weather been diseased in Chicago and New York the last few days. It's going to be nice in Chicago on Saturday, as Jim told us. I think it's going to be nice weather in New York as well for their big day. And a bunch of $100,000 events and a $200,000 event that we'll discuss right now at 9 furlongs. The McMahon Adena Empire Classic at 9 furlongs. And we needed to begin our discussion. It's a field of 8, 7 betting interests in here with Haynesfield. Because Haynesfield's a horse that beat Blame in the Jai Club Gold Cup last year. He owns Belmont at 5 for 8. 8-5 morning line. What are your thoughts on his return to the races? He hasn't raced in 5 months. For Steve Asmussen, putting him in this spot. Is he vulnerable off the layoff? This is a pretty good field.
What do you do with him? I mean, Asmussen's 17% off a layoff, but Haynesfield, this is a quality bunch. He seems to have tired to me in a little bit in 2-mile races. Now he's got to go 1 mile and an eighth. I just, at 8-5, that's really short.
Yeah, I think we'll know early on if he's right and he's ready. He obviously beats this field, but there's that chance. Well, why is he in? I mean, this is a $200,000 event. Maybe Asmussen's like, this is $200,000. I'm going to be 6-5. What a great spot for me to come off a layoff. I kind of find out what I have here. If he runs well, bigger and better things. If he doesn't run that well, maybe I back off, and he's not as good as he used to be. We have to keep him in some New York bred company. I'm going to try to beat him as well. I'll get to my selection. Green Monster, I thought was interesting, the 2, but A Song and a Prayer at 1 mile and an eighth. I was like, it's a little bit too far for him. I ended with Ichabod Crane in this race. This horse in the money, 21-27, with 7 victories. I know we're showing you a win over a sloppy racetrack, although it was a big speed bias track this day. He was able to close and win by a nose. He doesn't need an off track. I mean, he has 5 wins over a fast dirt track as well. He's just a really good, honest game racehorse for Graham Motion. Freshened up a little bit, but not a long lap for 2 months. I think he gets the pace to his liking with Johannesburg Smile, Green Monster, and Haynesfield providing that pace. What do you think?
You are a smart man. That's what I think, because I agreed with you on Ichabod.
It's just the glasses, Jim. Just the glasses.
Look at the Empire class. Got absolutely destroyed coming out of the gate. Reared at the gate, hit the gate, spotted the field 7 lengths. weaved its way through the field to still finish second in that race. Any type of a break with the type of pace you're going to get today, I think Ichabod Crane wins. I think the horse could win pretty easily, too.
Wow, strong endorsement. Sounds like maybe your best bet out of the stakes races that we're discussing, even over some of those races at Hawthorne.
Yeah, by far. The way this field lines up, I think everything lines up for a perfect effort. You get Mirage aboard. The distance suits. One turn is just fine.
All right, so if it was legal for you to make your play of the day at a stake race that we're covering, it probably would have been Ichabod Crane from the sound of things. So we both like Ichabod Crane. Jim probably a little bit more than I do in the Empire Classic. The Ticonderoga, 1 1/16 inner turf. I think the turf course will be listed as firm on Saturday in New York. And you get pace in this race from the 2, Who Is Lady, from the 4, Mystic City. The difficult part of this race, Jim, is you have all these horses, New York breds, that always run in these state bred type races, and they've all been facing one another. And one time one wins, and the next time the horse that wins the race runs third, and 2 horses you just beat him in the next start. They kind of take turns beating each other, which makes it difficult to handicap.
It does make it difficult to handicap. I have a feeling we're going to agree in this spot with a price, though, because I really like Rogue's Jewel in here. I think everything sets up for a great effort. The horse loves the turf course and should have a perfect trip from just off the pace.
Even when we're disagreeing, we're kind of agreeing. Even in races in which we've gone different directions, the horses that you've selected, whether it's the Hushin filly in the Lexus Raven Run, or in this case the Carlos Martin filly, Rogue's Jewel, I like the horse. I just didn't end up with her. I think she might get a good trip.
That was Gitchy Gumi, who the horse was head and head with the entire lane. Rogue's Jewel never gave in. There wasn't much pace that day, and the horse dug in gamely. Yeah. This is just a completely different horse on grass. Yeah,
and that last start was a race taken off the turf. Who cares about that effort? Right. She's a little bit of a second-itis type. Many in this field are. 9 seconds from 19 starts, 3 wins. This is the first race in which I think I've gone with, well, not even your morning line favorite, because that is Gitchy Gumi at 905. I like Hesanite, the 6, in this spot for David Donk. At least she's kind of a different type filly. She hasn't been facing, the horses are in this race, whereas I mentioned everybody else has been competing against one another. I liked this effort in the Pebble because Elusive Pearl got loose on the front end for Mike Trombetta, slowed things down to a crawl, 24-4-50 and 2, and Hesanite still did rally. Horse on the lead setting slow fraction. She still did close a bit to finish second. She gets the pace that she didn't receive in the Pebbles. And as I mentioned, that was still a good performance. Lightly raced, improving. Ramon Dominguez, even though David Donk's a little bit chilly right now at Belmont, he's a real good trainer. He's been an outstanding turf trainer for years and years and years. So his overall record at 1 for 22 doesn't really concern me. When Dominguez rides for David Donk, they're 23%. So I like Hesanite, second choice morning line at 7-2. The Bunty Lawless at Woodbine, race number 8. I went to grade school with Bunty Lawless. He was always in trouble, that Bunty. He was always in the assistant principal's office, that devil, that Bunty Lawless. $125,000 event here. The problem with this race for me is they've gotten even more rain at Woodbine than you've gotten in Chicago or they've received in New York. So I don't know what surface this will be on. They'll try to keep it on turf because it's a $125,000 event. I don't know what the turf condition will be like. What are your thoughts on the Bunty Lawless here with a field of 13?
Yeah, my biggest question of the day comes up in the Bunty Lawless is who's Patrick Husbands riding? That's a key. I mean, there's 2 Mark Casse runners in there. Who is he going to ride? I like the politics, but that's the big question.
Is he riding the 4 or the 6 in this race? Because they look kind of, it would be tough to pick one, wouldn't it? It'd be a tough decision. They're both pretty good horses.
I mean, I love Hippolytus in here. I think everything sets up good. If the race is on the grass, if the race comes off, it really doesn't matter for this horse. Horses run a lot of game efforts against really good runners. Horse ran second in the Queen's Plate at huge odds. It's 61-1. This is a horse that just seems to be coming into form. And if you look, it's been since the addition of Blinkers for Hippolytus.
Again, this race, to say that I'm clueless about this race would be an understatement. I don't have. It was really tough for me. I went back and forth about a zillion times. I ended up on the 5, Office in the Valley. I was a little annoyed, might be. I don't know. I thought when I saw 9-2, I was like, really? I think this horse might be a higher price than that. Yeah. Well, he wins races at 35-1, 9-1, 6-1, 22-1. This horse never gets respect, so I'm guessing he won't get respect again. There's just some horses that always get bet, and there's other horses that never do, and this is the latter. He runs a really good second, a couple starts back on the turf. I don't really care about that last start in which he lost to Paso Doble because it was 6.5 furlongs synthetic, especially if this race stays on the turf at a mile. That performance doesn't concern me. I like him stretching out in distance a little bit. He appears on paper to be training well, and I'm hopeful that I'll get better than the 9-2. About 2-minute warning in the program. I think from a pace standpoint, we handled things beautifully today. Play of the day. I know you wish it could be Ichabod Crane at Belmont, but it can't. That's illegal. And you're a by-the-books kind of guy. So where are you going? You're going Hawthorne, I'm guessing.
I'm coming back to Hawthorne
Yes.
and the Showtime Deb Stakes. You have to stick with
Bread
the
and
stake
butter.
right there. Showtime Deb Stakes at Hawthorne. Looking at it on the, it's the 6th race at Hawthorne. You get a field of 8 to head postward in this race. The 3, Dolly Peach. If you look at this debut race at Arlington, the horse was completely left in a 5.5 furlong race. Was almost in the lane that day and made a good effort. Then here at Hawthorne on October 1st, again, broke from the outside, cleared the lead. Chris Amy just kind of kept the horse to task, but never had to work. And you're going to get a price because of Via Shines on the outside. It'll be a very, very short price favorite. Dolly Peach 9-2. I think you'll get every part of that in the Showtime deck.
Just talked about Office in the Valley, my pick at Woodbine, and the Bunty Lawless, the horse who never gets respect. My play of the day is a horse who never gets respect either. That's the one mini punt in race number 10 at Belmont, the Mohawk. Desperately needed that race in September. Hadn't raced in more than a year. Second off the layoff. Loves the Belmont turf course. You look at his last few starts of this turf course. Second beaten a nose. How about a win at 27-1, an optional claiming event? A win in the Kingston $100,000 race at 4-1. Nakatani riding as well as he has in about 8 or 10 years, in my estimation, and there is pace everywhere in the Mohawk to set up for mini punt. Second off the lap at 10-1. He's my play of the day, the one in race number 10 at Belmont. Jim, I know you're real busy. Really appreciate you starting your day extra early and coming on the program.
I have a special thing for you, one of my prized possessions here. If you win, I will give you this.
Wow. Wow. And the show is going so well. Good luck with Robin Ventura. Great players always make great managers, Jim Miller.
Hey guys, do you want to look like this or slim and fit like this?
How would you like